to prove, there's no reason to prove.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And now you've got yourself something funky.
RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk. RTF Sports Talk.
And welcome to RTF Sports Talk. I'm the host of this fabulous show, Michael Buckeister, the one and only, and I'm joined with, as always, Billy Hatton. Billy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little heartbroken from last night, but I'll be all right. We're going to be all right.
Tell the people what happened last night, Billy. Let them in on what happened.
Do we even have time? Because, listen,
I got a shoulder and I got a warm cup of coffee. Man, I got everything you need. Just let it out, Billy.
Man,
let it out.
First off, we came out flat at home. We just let them come out in the first drive and march the ball right down the field. No resistance. Every time 33 got the ball, McLean, it was 15 yards before he even get touched. Offensive line play. It was funny because you joked about it last night when we were going over the topics about whose offensive line is worse, Florida State or Michigan. Well, we got Greg Fry from Michigan last year, so I guess that would explain why the offensive line was so bad. Couldn't block anybody. The left tackle, every time Francois took a 3-step drop or a five, especially the 5-step drops, he was getting hit on his last drop. The receivers couldn't get open. Defense played great, despite the terrible field position every time they went out on the field. The constant 3 and outs. Taggart offense is terrible. That sideline to sideline crap that don't work here at Florida State. Get us the ball up middle of the field. A lot of times they were only rushing 3 people and they was getting pressure. I don't think this sideline to sideline crap is going to work. He's gonna have to switch that because we don't have the type athletes as Oregon, just strictly fast guys. We have playmakers, and that sideline crap it just don't work with that type of spread. I was talking to my brother last night, and he said the same thing. He said this spread got to go. Like, I'm tired of looking at it, and I was thinking the same thing. Every time I would put something on Facebook, he would text me the exact same thing that I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, this is just terrible. Taggart, this is why I was skeptical about him, because even at Oregon, USF, and Western Kentucky, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't prospered in any of those programs. Yeah, winning seasons. Who cares about winning seasons? It's only 8-5. That's terrible. USF 7-7. That is terrible. So, listen, man, something got to change before week 2. Good thing we play Sanford next week. We can get a little of that stuff fixed, get a little confidence. But man, what I seen last night was basically the same thing I saw last year.
Okay, so and for the people that do not know, Billy is a huge Florida State fan. Florida State did get beat last night. I believe they're 1-16 now against ranked opponents with their new coach. Is that correct, Billy, or am I reading those numbers wrong?
It's been pretty terrible. Taggart's first year, he's already starting out on the wrong foot. That 1-16 is dating back, all the way, for the last few years, because we've been on the down street with Jimbo Fisher, because Jimbo Fisher had his one foot out the door already last year. He didn't really care about anything. He was letting recruits go. Recruits didn't know what was going on. He didn't want to inform anybody. So, it's a mess right now, and I'm not sure if Taggart's going to be able to fix it right away. Even Francois threw 3 interceptions yesterday. I thought he played pretty good. I just thought he was trying to force the issue a lot because we needed a big play. And I thought he threw a couple of those interceptions being greedy, just not on his part, just because he thought that we needed a spark. But that offense, man, that's really the main focus for me right now. The offense was just putrid. 3 points, three points. We got in the red zone 3 or 4 times and came out with nothing. Missed field goal, turned the ball over. Why would we, Mike, that's why I said I don't even think we got time, man. Why would we be running a wildcat with Cam Akers, who haven't done it all game, while we're on the goal line? And what does he do? Fumbles the ball, of course, because just these offensive coordinators and head coaches, they get paid way too much money to outthink themselves. Do what got you there. You know, the running game really hadn't even been good all night, other than that one drive where Cam Akers, that same drive right there where Cam Akers ran like 75 yards, you know, and got us all the way down to like the 5-yard line. And what did he do? Freaking wildcat with the running back. I just don't understand the play calling sometimes with these offensive coordinators. Like, what are you getting paid to do? Do what works.
I mean, I have to agree with you 100% on that one.
Yeah, we out here trying to trick people like with Boise State. Like, line up and play football. We doing all this cute stuff.
Well, and if you guys have not realized, RTF Sports Talk is back. We were on a couple-day break here, and basically, I missed you guys, honestly. And week 1 of college football is now officially in the books, and you can tell by Billy's passion in his voice that he loves his college ball. Billy, let's go ahead and jump right into it today. One of the biggest question marks so far, in my opinion, of the college football season is the Alabama quarterback situation. Yes, they destroyed Louisville. Louisville is just a bad team. But do you think, in your opinion, will Bama's 2-quarterback system really work this season, or does Saban really need to just name a starter and stick with him for the rest of the season? What are your thoughts on that?
I have a yes or no for this. Do I think it could work, the 2-quarterback system? Of course it can. It's college football, and this is really, you know, the prime of the 2-quarterback system. This is where it started from in college football, you know, and, you know, just recent memory going back to Tim Tebow and Chris Leak is when it, you know, I felt when it really, really jumped on the scene, and Urban Meyer really used that 2-quarterback system perfect, and, you know, they won national championship with that system. But I think Nick Saban, you know, he already named Tua the starter. He did it last week before the game, and then he played 2 quarterbacks. I think he did it last week just so he can see how it worked. Tua definitely looked the part last week, which is the reason why I believe he got named the starter this week. I think Nick Saban going forward, I don't think he's going to do the 2-quarterback system. Tua, he was, 12 of 16, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I mean, some of those balls that he was throwing was on ropes. I mean, he probably couldn't have walked it down there and placed it in receiver hands better than the way he was throwing that ball. And I just think I have been saying that, you know, even when Jalen Hurts was started before we even knew about this guy, he's not the polished passer that they're going to need when they get in tight games. You know, he's not going to be able to make those throws. I think going forward, Nick Saban stays with Tua. I think he probably puts Jalen Hurts in there on certain packages. But also, another thing that can come into play, you know, with the new with the rule that they have now in college football, that if he plays less than 4 games, you know, they can redshirt him. And I've been hearing that a lot too, so he can transfer out. Because if Tua starts all year, Jalen Hurts is not going to get that spot back next year. And, you know, Jalen Hurts is the upperclassman here. You know, he's already in his junior year. This is the money year, you know, when you can declare and go to the NFL draft. So I think right now, I think Nick Saban's going to stay with Tua because he's the more polished passer. He gives them more opportunities on offense to be versatile and not just one-dimensional like, you know, like normal Alabama teams who are just going to run the football and play tough defense and play great on special teams. Now they have a quarterback that you can't just sleep on, you know, because he can put the ball on the money when it needs to be there. So
do you think, like, Saban's kind of just dangling the apple and like in front of these 2 quarterbacks, kind of saying like, hey, you will see time. I can get you both to the NFL. You just need to trust the system, trust the name on the front of the jersey, and then don't they don't leave the college and I'll get you some time? Like, do you think that's kind of what he's doing, like with the quarterback system, like right now?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I do believe that that's what he's doing. Florida State just had that situation. Whenever Francois was named quarterback, Bailey Hockman, he decided to transfer, and I think that's what Nick Saban is doing right now. I think he's trying to save face right now because Jalen Hurts is so important, to that organization. 26-2 as a starter, that's not easy. It doesn't matter who you're playing against.
Right.
26-2 as a starter is not easy. And I think, he does have that soft spot for Jalen Hurts. He's won national championship with him, So I do believe that he's trying to save face and he's trying to keep Hurts there just in case he need him, as that ace up his sleeve, or I got something in my back pocket just in case Tua actually comes out and plays like this is his first year starting, because he hasn't done it yet. National championship game, he delivered. Against Louisville, he delivered. I expect to see the same thing this upcoming week, being that they don't really have anybody on the schedule. They play in Arkansas State. So I think we also probably going to see another 2-quarterback system. I think he's trying to fill them out right now. But if you ask me, Tua is definitely in the league, and I think Nick Saban is definitely trying to save face right now so Hurts don't transfer.
Well, just from my opinion, from the outside looking in, like I think if Hurst was going to transfer, he would have transferred last year when he got pulled out of the national championship game for the freshmen to come in, and like I kind of felt like that was like a slap in his face, like, hey, you don't have it, we're going with this underclassman. Like, do you kind of feel the same way? Like he would have transferred out then, like if he was going to transfer out?
No, I think the reason why he didn't transfer out after the national championship game because it was still up in the air, and I thought it was still his job to lose. I didn't think Tua was going to be named the starter, and I don't think he thought Tua was going to be named the starter because if you remember, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago when Nick Saban was first asked about the quarterback competition, and Nick Saban declined to speak on it, and he just said, well, we'll see, and all of that other stuff. Jalen Hurts, was in the news for saying that he didn't like that, that
right.
He thought Nick Saban should just go ahead and name a starter. So I believe that Jalen Hurts thought that he had a chance to win this starting job again because he had been so good for this program. I don't think he's seen, this happening where he's coming off the bench in his junior year,
especially being in Alabama. Like a Alabama guy.
Exactly. Exactly. Everybody loves Hurts from what I know about Alabama. I have a lot of Alabama fans, friends, and a lot of them are excited about Hurts. So I think he probably thought, listen, it's my job to lose as long as I don't do anything stupid. I think it's mine. And I think that's the reason why he didn't transfer.
Alrighty, so let's just go ahead and keep on with the college football theme here. Like we said at the start of the show, Week 1 is in the books. What is your biggest takeaway from Week 1 so far?
Before I do that, Mike, I'm just going to start off by saying this. Every ranked game that I picked this upcoming week was wrong.
L's.
Everyone.
Across the board.
Everyone, Mike, to Washington, to Michigan, to Florida State, to Miami. All the ranked games, I picked them wrong.
Let me give you a insight. I picked 4 or 5 top 25 five games as well, and I only got 1 right. I got Maryland versus Texas. That's one.
Week 1 was rough on us, Mike. Week 1 was rough, man. But that's Week 1, in college football, and that's why you play the games.
Right.
But to me, my biggest takeaway was honestly. I would say Florida State, but I already did my rant on that. My biggest takeaway was Miami and LSU.
That's a good one.
I didn't think Miami was gonna, especially returning all the starters that they had: Rozier, Homer, Dallas, Richardson. Mike Jackson on defense. That linebacker crew, they probably have the best linebacker crew in the nation. Those guys. They've been starting since they was freshmen. And, and I just thought with LSU having a new quarterback in there, Ed Orgeron, I didn't believe in him at all. I just did not think that they would go and put a beating on Miami the way they did. Now, as a Florida State fan, I am so happy that this happened because I hate Miami. You know, I have a lot of friends back home that's Miami fans. My mom is a Miami fan, and it couldn't make me more proud than to see Miami lose. But I just did not expect them to lose like that. You know, they scored 2 touchdowns late to make that score 33-17. When, you know, honestly, I thought the LSU defense had already given up and they kind of got those touchdowns.
Yeah,
it was
a blowout.
Yeah, it was already a blowout. It was 33-3 already, you know, and they scored those 2 late touchdowns. So Miami getting shellacked like that, you know, especially the way that they ended the season. You know, they ended the season with 3 straight losses. And I said it, you know, on popular opinion, the way they lost those last 3 games of the year could affect them moving forward at the start of this year. And it seemed like it happened. I also said Malik Rozier is not the quarterback that Miami needs, and that's not the guy that's going to take them to the promised land. He's also not a pods passer, and he gets a lot of his good stats based on how good his defense is and how good the running game is. Almost similar to what I used to say about Russell Wilson. You know, when you have a good running game and you have a good defense, and they lead the nation in turnovers, you're 9 times out of 10 going to be put in good field position. So you're going to do better. And I think when his defense is not getting turnovers, as they didn't in the LSU game, not 1 turnover, we didn't see the turnover chain at all. Now you putting Malik Rozier to throw 35 passes. He was 15 or 35. That is no bueno for Malik Rozier.
And especially against playing such a high caliber team as well. I mean, like you
exactly. Them boys, LSU came out flying around.
Yeah.
They came out flying around, and I thought Miami came out a little subtle. The same way I felt about Michigan and Auburn. You know, I thought both of those teams came out flat, especially Michigan playing on the road in South Bend. I thought that they would have came out with a little more fire. I thought John Harbaugh would have had those boys ready. They didn't.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest takeaway from week 1 is, my Kansas State Wildcats look like total crap. I mean, we about got beat by a FCS school. I mean, we had to pull it out late to even make it, was a 28-24 game for us to win. But like the overall aspect of week 1 in general is just the rankings in general, like the preseason rankings. Like me and you kind of went back on Facebook for like a little while, just like about this, and we feel like the rankings are strictly just by the names. Like I almost wonder if they watch their spring games, you know, have the insight on their practices or, you know, something. But like just like Texas getting beat by Maryland just like the way they did. Yes, they had
2 years in a row.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, and I mean, like, granted, they had that, I believe it was a 2-hour rain delay or a lightning.
Yeah, when they had stopped play.
But Maryland went through the same thing. So I mean, like, you really can't.
I was about to say that affects both teams.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you can't really chalk it up to like, oh, we had a disadvantage or whatever. It's just like Texas being ranked in the top 25 year in and year out, and they consistently, you know, like, I can't remember the last time Texas has had a 9-win season, to be honest with you. And like, they're consistently losing 3 or 4
games. Yeah, me neither. You know, especially. And I'll tell you something else, Mike. That kind of goes the same for my Seminoles. I honestly, when the rankings came out this year, I was thinking that we were going to be on the outside of the top 25 because I thought that that's what we deserved to be. Of course, as a fan, I was happy to be ranked because that's already an inside track to be in the college football playoffs. You at least have to be ranked, you know.
Right.
And I thought 19 was a little high for my Seminoles, to be honest, especially how we left off last year. Nothing really, if you're not a Florida State fan, nothing really gave you good indication or happy feeling in your heart that man,
they weren't on my
we should be ranked
pick for sure. Yeah,
I thought we were going to be left outside of the top 25. To be honest, I was happy as a fan, but I didn't think that we deserved the 19 ranking anyways. I was happy with it, but I just didn't think that we deserved it, and we went out there and you know, did what we did at home. Our college football playoff chances literally left after the first quarter. We was already done.
Well,
you struggle at home against a ranked team, you're done.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that to an extent. Meaning, like, granted, it is like, you know, in your guys' defense, no other team really put a slacking on teams like they should have, except for Ohio State. They beat Oregon State. What was it?
Yeah, Ohio State looked really good.
Yeah, they looked really good, but at the same time, they were playing a pretty down Oregon State team. Like Oregon State hasn't been.
Yeah, correct.
They haven't been really relevant, you know, since I want to say Chip Kelly left Oregon. Like I think,
and they still put 31 up on the Buckeyes.
Exactly. So I mean, like week 2. I mean that is a good thing about college is like, you know, teams improve week in and week out. So I'm definitely looking forward to week 2. But moving right along here. Speaking of week 1s, NFL season starts in 2 days. Thursday night game we have Eagles and the Falcons. But some of the biggest news to hit the NFL scene this week was Mac's big deal with the Bears. I believe he signed $60 million guaranteed, $92 million with the possible bonuses and signing bonuses and that kind of thing. So the question to you, Billy, is this better for the Raiders to get, you know, send Mac off and get those, I believe it was a first round, second round, and 7th round pick, or is it better for the Bears to strengthen that defense with that new rookie linebacker?
I think this is a huge move for the Chicago Bears.
We talking playoffs?
I mean, yeah. Well, no, I'm not calling playoffs. I'm not calling. I'm not ready to do that yet because I think, you know, they still at the bottom of their division.
Right.
But I think what they did was they made things a lot more interesting. You know, if they can get Trubisky, you know, going, they do have Jordan Howard, the running back. You know, they did get Allen Robinson, which was a nice pickup for them. They may be a little bit better on offense. You know, Trubisky, you know, he got another year in the system. You know, but to get Khalil Mack and add him with Roquan Smith, I think that is going to be brilliant for the Chicago Bears. I think they're going to be tougher to play against this year. Now, to the Oakland Raiders, I thought that was also a brilliant move for them, and a lot of people was calling me crazy when I was talking about it on Twitter. And this is the question I ask people: What have Khalil Mack done so good that make the Raiders think, you know, man, yeah, we need to keep him? Because yeah, he got the individual production, but how many guys are individually just good? Like, he's individually good. Yes, he's won the Defensive Player of the Year. He's made the All-Pro team at linebacker and at defensive end. Yeah, that stuff can't be debated. But that stuff hasn't directly translated over to wins. And why would I pay a guy, like John Gruden said, the price tag was just too much? Why would I pay a guy all of this money if he's not directly affecting wins? Because the guys who's directly affecting wins is the guys that's throwing the football. I think they needed more on offense as far as playmakers, or they needed more around the defense to make their defense good as a whole. So I like the move, getting rid of Khalil. Price tag too high. Plus, they already paid John Gruden $100 million. They need winning. And even though Khalil Mack is the beast that he is, I just think that defensive ends nowadays come a dime a dozen. You know, these guys are starting to become more, more and more frequent. You know, it's kind of almost like receivers. You know, how you will see a new receiver come up every single year, one that you didn't think was going to be that good. Yeah, you know, so I just think getting rid of Khalil Mack was a good move for them. He wasn't directly impacting wins or losses, really. You know, so give him to somebody else. Keep that cap space so you can sign somebody else. Well, and they got 2 first-round picks for him. That's not bad.
And they got a second-round pick as well, I do believe. Like I thought it was first, second, and like a 6th-round pick, correct? But they got like a conditional, something like that. Yeah, 6th-round pick or something. Means, so that's not bad to get 2 first rounds for him. Yeah, like exactly. But I truly think that the Raiders won out in this situation. Just because the Bears, they may have added that couple missing pieces, but they're still missing a few pieces to really push them over the edge. They're missing they're missing a quarterback. Like their quarterback play has.
Yeah, I'm not sold on Trubisky.
Yeah,
I'm not sold on Trubisky at all.
I mean, like, with the Jets cutting, Teddy and sending him to the Jets or the Saints, I mean, like I feel like the Bears should have done more in the quarterback category, like with all these players getting cut, kind of like that last, 5 or 6 days, then shelling out almost $100 million for Mac, that that he could be, like just like what you said, like he will not 100% impact the wins and losses. Yes, he will help on the defensive side, but that quarterback position is definitely a open source for the Bears, and they needed to address, and they haven't. So I definitely think the Raiders came out on top on this one, 100%.
Oh yeah. If you asking who won the trade, I think the Raiders definitely won this trade. They cleared up a lot of cap space. Khalil Mack is a great player in this NFL, but he's not directly affecting wins and losses. So, I mean, if you can get the opportunity and you get 2 first-round picks, you get their first-round picks, which I think the Bears are still going to be mediocre next year. So these first-round picks is going to still be pretty good, especially 15, being that 16, the Bears, the Bears the next 2 years won't even get a first-round pick. So now they got to ride with what they got, and hopefully that they can pick good in the later rounds of the draft. But, these 2 first-round picks is going to help Oakland out really good. I think that also buys John Gruden a little bit of time on this coaching trail, as far as do he need to win and lose now? Because now you just get rid of Khalil Mack. Now you got the people thinking, oh, this is kind of sort of like a rebuild, we replenishing. So I think that was a smart move by him, give himself a little bit more time in his first year. I think the Raiders definitely won this trade.
I mean, like, even though the Raiders are built to win now, I mean, like, before Carr got hurt, was it last year? I mean, they were in the driver's seat in the AFC. Like, there should have been no reason why they weren't.
Exactly.
So, but speaking of quarterbacks here, Sam Darnold was named starter. Is this good or bad for them?
Well, I mean, I guess given the situation, what we're working with right now, I would say this was good. I believe that he's a better quarterback than Josh McCown. And why would we start Josh McCown if, he's not like a Tyrod, to have somebody sitting behind him. I think Josh McCown is a pretty good quarterback. He could be a decent he's a decent quarterback. He can be a pretty good mentor. So I guess Sam Darnold over Josh McCown, I guess I like the move. But I didn't like them getting rid of Teddy Bridgewater. I thought Teddy Bridgewater was going to be a starter, and I think they knew Teddy Bridgewater was going to be the starter. Yeah. But they wanted Sam Darnold in there since they paid him that money, and I think that's why they got rid of Teddy. But I think they're going to have a lot of growing pains this year. To be honest, I'm not sold on Sam Darnold. I watched him in the preseason against the Falcons, and I watched against the Redskins, and a lot of what I've seen was just a lot of check down throws, and I don't think that he's Tom Brady enough to be good with checking the ball down all the time. Not to mention Tom Brady also knows when to pick his spot, and he's good down the field. The times I did see Sam Darnold throw down the field, he was missing receivers, back shoulder throw, fade, which is the easiest throw in football for any quarterback. You just underthrow the receiver. I mean, that's not that hard. He was selling the ball out of bounds, throwing the ball over people's heads. I think he could command the offense pretty good. The one interception that he did have, it was off a tip pass, but I thought that was bad decision making. To me, I'm just not sold on Darnold. I don't think that this is going to put the Jets in any better spot that they would have been in with Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, this is a horrible move by the Jets. I believe the Josh McCown, he's still hurt. He's still recovering from that collarbone injury, but releasing Teddy Bridgewater, like, that was probably one of the dumbest moves they could have done, and starting Sam as the second, simply because Sam is what I believe he's only 21 years old. Teddy has been in the league for a while. Yes, he's been hurt for a few years, but he is a proven veteran, and like he would have taught Sam how to be that quarterback. I mean, and just looking at their just looking at their team in general, I don't know anybody on their team. The only person I know on their team, no, like I'm being 100% serious. The only person I know on their team is Terrell Pryor, and he was a quarterback in college, and they have Terrell Pryor listed as a number 2 wide receiver. So you are telling me that Sam Darnold is going to connect with Terrell Pryor like with all those underneath routes? That's not going to happen. Like
I laughed, Mike. I laughed because as you were saying that, I was actually looking up their depth chart because I have no clue who they had on their roster, who Sam Darnold is going to be able to throw the ball to. That's why I laughed. You can go ahead, but that's why I was laughing.
Well, I mean, but seriously, look at their roster. Okay, so tight end, they have Neil Sterling. Who did he play for? I don't know.
I have no clue.
Here,
I have no clue.
Here are their tailbacks. Is Powell? Like I don't even know how to say his first name. It's B-I-L-A-L.
Bilal. Yeah, he's a journeyman running back. He'll have a few games out the season that make you think that, oh man, he should probably be the starter, and then he'll fall off.
Well, they actually have him listed as a starter, and then they have Isaiah Crowell as a backup. Never heard of him. I mean, like I said, the tight ends, Neil Sterling, Chris Henderson, and Eric Tomlinson. I mean, hopefully that Tomlinson last name will kind of project into Eric, and maybe he got some hands, and you know. But seriously, this is the Jets could have not done a worse thing for Sam this year.
Yeah, they didn't put him in a good situation this year, honestly.
This is exactly what the Browns have done to their past 8 quarterbacks. You know, Johnny Manziel. You name it.
Brady Quinn.
Yeah.
Jason Campbell. RG3 for that matter. Deshaun Kaiser, Brandon Whedon.
Exactly.
The list goes on.
Yeah. So this is the Browns 2.0. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this is the Browns 2.0. Sam.
And I was expecting the Browns to do what the Jets did, honestly, and start Baker, which I don't think that would have been the right move. You let the veterans start.
Exactly.
You know, when the veterans start messing up, it's easier then to turn to the rookie. You turn to the rookie first. Now what happens when you bench him when he's not playing good?
Yeah.
Now you done lost him because quarterbacks are fragile.
Yes. Well, honestly, professional athletes in general are fragile. I mean, like just like we were talking about Alabama, like you can play that 2 quarterback system and like they can come off the bench, you know, give that spark for a series or 2 and then come back and sit down for 3 series and then come back and do the same thing. Like a professional athlete, for some reason, they just cannot do that.
Yeah, they can't handle that. They can't handle being put on the bench and then have to come in and make a goal. You know, and you said it earlier. I thought Teddy should have been their starter. I kind of understand from an organization standpoint why they got rid of Teddy, because out of the 2, him and Josh McCown, he had the most trade value.
Right.
But I thought Teddy Bridgewater could have done you a solid job in there being the starter, a way better job than what I think Sam Darnold or Josh McCown could do. And that gives Sam Darnold, you know, an ear to talk to. You know,
Yeah.
I think Teddy Bridgewater could have taught him a lot of things. Exactly.
It's that somebody to teach him how to watch the film, how to prepare for the games,
Exactly.
how to go to a Super Bowl. You know, like.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I just think Teddy would have been a bigger service to Sam Darnold's career than Josh McCown. Even if you had started Sam Darnold over Teddy Bridgewater but kept him on the roster, that's still somebody he could talk to. Josh McCown, I mean, I guess, you know, I guess
he's from Alabama,
Josh
right?
McCown. I don't even know where he's from. But I just thought Teddy could have done a better job than what, you know, Sam Darnold or Josh McCown could have done. I think, you know, they ruined their season when they did that. Todd Bowles, get ready to be fired. You're on the hot seat for sure now.
Well, I just looked up Josh McCown. He's 40 years old.
Yeah.
Like, why are you guys keeping a 40-year-old quarterback when Teddy Bridgewater's he's probably, what, 33, 34 at the oldest? Actually,
no,
probably
Teddy,
not even that.
Teddy. Yeah, Teddy's still in his 20s. He's
Yeah.
only been in the league, 4 years? I believe this would be his fifth or sixth year, you know. So I think, you know, he's only about 28 or 29.
So
this is a complete terrible move.
So I might retract my previous statement a little bit. Maybe Josh McCown knows how to be a professional and can teach him. Just by the age, you know, like he has been in the league since 2002, 2003. So maybe he has that experience somewhere along the way and can teach Sam how to be a professional. But
well, he's been a starter a few times too. So yeah, I mean, he could teach him something. But I just think if you're talking about wins and losses, I would have kept Teddy. yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
It's Josh McCown's 40 years old. It's time to cut the strings and get him out of there. But so let me ask you this. Do you think starting Sam Darnoldson this year ruins his career?
I think it has the potential to ruin his career. Let's say the Jets come out and they're 0-4, 0-3, which you know that could be possible. But I think, you know, if they come out 0-3, I think his career, his ability to bounce back, I think is done. I watched him at USC, and he had games where he was up. And when he was down, he was down. And I think being in the NFL, these guys have a way of when you're down, listen, man, they know how to keep you there, especially as a quarterback.
Especially in New York.
You know, exactly, especially in New York. And that media, he's gonna get scrutinized. I remember back when I used to play baseball, I had to stop pitching when I got to high school because I would get so frustrated, I would just start throwing the ball everywhere. You know, so I stayed to playing third base, and that's kind of like how a quarterback is. You know, you see some of these guys, they get frustrated, a couple things go wrong, and what happened? They just start throwing picks all over the place. They just start missing reads. They start missing throws. You know, and on the NFL level, that's a recipe to get you sat on the bench and get you moved around to 4 teams in 3 years type deal. So, you know, to me, it just all depends on how they start out the season. Maybe if they can get a win or two in there, I think that kind of helps his confidence because at least they're winning. He may be playing bad, but they'll be winning. But he cannot play bad and they be losing. I think that'll be the end of his career.
Looking at the Jets' schedule, the only chance they have for a win in the first quarter of the season is against the Browns, and that's not going to happen.
And I'm pretty sure that don't we play them at home?
Yeah. It's a week 3 matchup, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we play them at home. So yeah, that's not even a guarantee, but it's definitely going to be the battle of the bad teams for sure.
Well, Browns aren't going to be bad this year, but that's a topic for next week or times to come. But Billy, as always, thank you for joining us. And you guys haven't yet, comment, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Apple Music, be sure ahead and go give us a follow. Give us a ranking, 5 stars preferably. And if not 5 stars, we totally understand, but just tell us why it's not five stars. But Billy Hatton, where can people find your podcast at?
You can go on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Breaker, Castbox, Radio Public. Anywhere you can find your normal podcast. I'm on there Monday through Friday. Since football season has started, I'm gonna start incorporating some Saturdays, so you guys be sure to that. You guys are gonna get a notification if you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you give me a rating. Yes, please make sure you follow, subscribe, share, give me a rating. That would be greatly appreciated.
And just to clarify, the name of the podcast is Unpopular Opinion. And if you search Unpopular Opinion, I believe there was 2 or 3 others with that same name. His podcast is the podcast that has a hair on it. It's the it is the Sideshow Bob Afro looking hair with the Unpopular Opinion. It is like you cannot miss it.
Yes, and I changed the logo on it, so it will be a black logo with red lettering.
There you go.
My hair is going to be white on this new one. Trust me, you can't miss it. It's the only one like it.
Alrighty, Billy. As always, thanks for joining us, and as everybody else, thanks for joining us as well. We'll see you guys Thursday at 9:45 a.m. on the East Coast as we start our NFL picks for Week 1. Join us then. Bye.
I appreciate it, Mike.